Shalom, I'm Dr. Walter Oakley. Welcome to A Taste of Hebrew. Well, we've been working on the book of Genesis, Sefer Breshit, right, and trying to word for word go through each word lexically and finding its definition and understanding. We've worked our way through to Perkei Aleph, which is the first chapter, right, and then we worked our way into Pasuk Tet, which is verse 9. And so we've actually almost mastered the entire passage. As a matter of fact, today's words will actually cause us to master the rest of the entire verse. And so what I'd like to do is just go ahead and jump into the Hebrew. Let's do a little bit of Hebrew review. And then what we will do is we will begin to look at the lexical information and data. It says, Vayomer Elohim yikavu hamayim metachat Hashmayim al mechom echad. What it's literally saying is what? Said, and God said, let the waters be collected together underneath the heavens into or unto one particular place. As a result, it says Vateira'eh, which we discussed last week, and she will appear, or and she shall be seen. And what is it that's going to be seen? It says Ha-Yabeshah. Ha-Yabeshah is what will be seen. And then it says Vayihi Cain. So our word for today is, and actually it's not just a word, it's a phrase, as was Vateira'eh. Our word for today is Ha-Yabeshah. So having that information, what let's do is let's go ahead and look at the lexical information so that we can begin to determine and ascertain what Ha-Yabeshah literally means in the biblical text.
Here's the text in Hebrew so that you can visibly see what we just read. Vayomer Elohim yikavu hamayim mitechat hashmayim el mechom echad v'teira'eh. Today's phrase Ha-Yabeshah, and then we have Vayihi Cain. Now let's just rehearse one more time what it says. And said God, or if we're going to make it grammatically correct in English, it will say, and God said, Yikavu hamayim, let the waters be collected, metechat, under hashmayim, under the heavens, al mechom echad, which is literally its phrase, to or unto mechom, actually echad, one place, to make it English grammatically correct. Then it says Vateira'eh. We discussed this phrase last week again. Again, here's today's phrase, Ha-Yabeshah. Let's look at it where it's a little bit bigger for us so that we can see it here and we can look at it. Look here, we'll just concentrate on the enunciation. Ha-Yabeshah. Ha-Yabeshah. Now notice the dot in the middle of the yod. This is a yod. Notice the dot in the middle of the yod. What's going to happen is Ha-Yabeshah, Yabeshah. If you can hear it, you can almost hear it being enunciated twice. Ha-Yabeshah, Yabeshah. And so you'll be able to see it being almost enunciated twice. The dot in many occasions will indicate that it is a hard sound. So we have a ha-yah or ha-yah, in this case ha-yah-beshah, and you can almost hear that enunciated twice. Okay, now look at, well, let's go back for just a second. The opening letter here and phrase is ha, meaning the, right? Now we take away the and we'll just have our word. Actually, this is our word for today, Yabesh. But this word Yabeshah is not actually a root. This word means dry land, and we'll get into all that in a minute. But it says Yabeshah, and it is without the definite article hey at the beginning. But again, this is not our opening or a foundational or a root word. Here's the root word, and the root word is Yabeshah. Yabeshah. And so this word here will be what we will be working on for the day. Now our number is for Ha-Yabeshah, or for Yabeshah, is Hebrew Strong's 3004, and its theological workbook of the Old Testament number is 837. So this, once we get into this lexical information, we'll be able to shoot this back, or go all the way back to its foundational root. Here's our word in Hebrew with its lexical information, and you notice this is all the lexical information given here in this particular word. So it's peculiar because many times we'll be looking at words and have long lexical lists. This one is actually very short. So it's 3004, and it says Yabesh. And here we can see the transliteration in this point, but here we'll have, like a broken down transliteration for us to see. And I believe before I said Yabeh, you need to understand that it's actually Yabashah. And it tells us here that it's from 3001 in the Strongs, and that the definition here of what we have is dry ground, and it repeats this dry ground or dry land. And so that being the case, now let's look at its root, 3001. 3001 is Yabesh, or Yabesh, excuse me. Yabesh. I believe before I said Yabesh, it's actually Yabesh. Now Yabesh comes from, or is, a primitive root, and that means to be ashamed, confused, or disappointed, also failing. It has the idea of drying up as water, to wither as herbage, to be ashamed, clean, to be confounded, to make dry up, to do shamefully, utterly wither away. Now it seems peculiar that here you would have the idea of being shamed and confused and disappointed as the root for something that dries up. But you must keep in mind that Hebraically, when we work with Hebrew words, that many times that the Hebrew mindset or the Hebrew concept is not actually, it's not conveyed well from our English ideas. To be ashamed means that one would wither, or like they would begin to kind of cringe, if we could use that phrase. And so the idea of cringing or withdrawing oneself, and that in confusion or disappointment, is the idea, biblical or Hebraic idea, of withering up. And so then we can go on to see to be ashamed, and to be ashamed has that idea of withering up or drying up. This can be and cross a lot of territory in the ground when we use that idea right there. To be confounded also with the idea of confused, and then to make dry up, and to shame, and to utterly wither away. So the root of our word Yabesh has the idea of something that's beginning to dry up. And in the context of our passage, it lets the water begin to disappear. And if herbage or greenery were to dry up or wither, it would begin to fail or fade away.